Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk to you about some of our enemies while we are investing. So the first enemy is Mr. Market, or as Mr. Graham called it, or Miss Market, as some reader of mine suggested that why should we not call it Miss Market, because now there are many women also investing. So let's call her Miss Market. The Miss Market is a fantastic partner to have because she gives you the price every day. If you are a buyer, she's a seller. If you are a seller, she's a buyer. And she gives you two-way quotes for everything, almost everything in a typical retail portfolio. And you could buy a share and book profits and sell, and then she is likely to take the share up so high that you feel humiliated. Therefore, Ken Fisher calls it the great humiliator. Graham called it Mr. Market. Let's call it Miss Market. And Ken Fisher calls it the great humiliator. This is a very active guy, tremendous, or a girl with tremendous amount of patience, bipolar perhaps, but will keep giving you two-way quotes for everything and everything that you have to offer. So when you sell a share, then it will take the price up. When you buy a share and you keep accumulating, it will crash the share. Now market is just not doing this. This is being done by the world forces or by the market forces, and you have no clue what is going to happen next. So we are very happy buying, accumulating, then seeing the price come down. You feel miserable. You feel like a great fool that the market fooled you, but that's the job of the market. He or she will not tell you what is cheap, will not tell you what is expensive. So the first enemy that you have while investing is Mr. Market, or Miss Market, as you wish to call. Now come to the second enemy. Second enemy is the salaried executive working in big fund houses. Let's say they work in big fund houses, they got a lot of research team, etc., etc. They work for creating wealth for the shareholders of the company. Incidentally, you may be a consumer. You may be a consumer of insurance, you may be a consumer of banking, you may be a consumer of mutual funds, but you need to understand that they are here to work for creating wealth for their shareholder, not for you. You are completely incidental. It's like in a pharma company, you are incidental. They need you to earn money, but ultimately it is run for. I do think people should understand the very basics. A company is run for its shareholders, not necessarily for its employees, not necessarily for its customers. Some companies are extremely consumer focused so that in the long run they can make more money out of you. That's a different thing. For example, a home loan company would be happy to give you a 30-year loan instead of a 20-year loan, where they actually earn more money than you think they do. In a 20-year loan, they earn less money. In a 30-year loan, they obviously earn more money. So that is so the professionals who are running all these companies. I mean, I don't fancy my chances against the research team of a Franklin Templeton or an ICICI Prudential or a PGIM or any of these people, right? There is very little chance of being able to fight those people. So the enemy number two would be the organized players in the system. I mean, this is very typically like you've gone to watch a match. Or you go on a hike or go on a trek. It happens to me regularly. You look at the other players and you realize that they're far maybe younger, fitter, more enthusiastic, whatever. So I try to make up with enthusiasm what I lack in fitness. But yes, while you're doing a 16-kilometer trek and most of it's slightly uphill, you know that you're going to take much longer time than your younger counterparts, and so you realize that you're not as fit as them. Similarly, whether you go to watch cricket or whether you go to watch volleyball or any of the sport, Kho-Kho also, even you watch on TV, you realize that their fitness level is much higher than your fitness level, so you can't compete with them. Ditto for professional investing versus amateur investing. We are amateur investors, so we are armed with our PC, an internet connection, and maybe a fantastic TV channels which you may or may not watch, and some websites. versus somebody who can just say, "Arey, get the cash flow, do an analysis of last 5 years cash flow, see how much is their free cash flow, see whether it is right, see how much is the dividend payout ratio." I know it's not very difficult to do. This sounds very dumb, but the thing is, if you have to do it for 20 companies on a regular basis, you don't feel like doing it. So it's easier to pick up the phone and say, "Okay, can you tell me what is the dividend yield? Is it really 6% or is it 9%? Am I making a mistake in calculations? So can you do 5-year dividend yield and tell me how much it is?" It's easier to ask for these things, right, rather than sit and do it. So as an individual investor, you lack the resources, right? So enemy number 2 is people who are better equipped than you, not necessarily smarter than you, but definitely better equipped, better trained, and they are to sit in a committee and justify their actions, which means they will be far more thinking in their actions than what I do. I don't think as much as I'm sure a good research analyst thinks. But the biggest enemy, as you would have guessed, is you. Me, myself, or you, whatever. The most important enemy is us. What do we have to tackle this enemy? The problem with our role as an investor is we are not disciplined enough. We get information, and there is information asymmetry. The quality of information fund managers get is not the same that we get. Fund managers have another advantage, that if you're handling 50,000 crores of money, more information comes to you, and you also have a research team which will go meet the promoter and give you a distilled view of what they think about the company. Now you have the advantage of not hearing straight from the promoter, who is always optimistic about his company, etc., etc. In fact, if you hear a promoter who is not as optimistic as he should be, it's a very clear warning signal that he wants to either sell or he wants to buy out his partner, or there is some hidden agenda. So you have to be worried about that hidden agenda and all that. But as an individual investor, we don't have the discipline, we don't write down, we don't know how we performed last 3-4 years. So I think it's a simple thing. 2017, how did I perform? I don't know, but the mind keeps saying, "Oh, you didn't done very well." I don't know my performance on a year-to-year basis or a quarter-to-quarter basis. I don't have all that well documented. I just know that, okay, I have so much money, I need so much for my retirement, I'm way ahead of that. So I don't have to really bother too much but if you were running a fund and it had fund managers, if I had a boss, if I had trustees, they would ask me questions. I would have to justify a lot of things. Today I don't need to justify. I just go and buy a share, and that goes down further. I say, it doesn't matter, it's for the long run. Anyway, I bought at higher prices also. Yes, you bought at a higher price to sell at a price even higher than that. But now what you're doing is you're not buying for the long term. You're buying for the short term. But because it has gone wrong, you're converting that into a long term. Now, these are disastrous things to do. You made a mistake in trading, let it be a trading mistake. Take your loss, go home. If you think it's a good investment, apply your mind, think about it, and then decide at what price you will buy and at what price you will sell. Because fundamental analysis requires far more thinking than the ability to just trade. But to say that is also not very great, because trading itself needs a lot of skill. If you don't have the skill, you will become a bad trader. It may perhaps be possible to become a decent investor, but you can't become a decent trader without the expertise of hand-holding. Somebody has to be a mentor, teach you how to do it. Then you can become a good trader, right? Whereas becoming an investor is not so difficult. All you do is do a SIP in an index fund, and you're taken care of. 99% of your wealth creation will happen because you chose to put more money in equity and you stayed there for a longer period of time. It doesn't really matter. Mid cap, large cap, small cap, this fund, that fund, this fund manager, that fund manager, but you will all develop your own biases. So fighting an animal which has got biases, which forgets all the difficult things. 2017, what bad happened, you don't remember, and you think you did outperform the index. Now go back and calculate and find out whether you beat the index. Maybe you didn't. Right? So fighting this third animal, the first is Mr. Market, the second is of course the professionals, and third is fighting your own biases. Realizing that this is wrong, but you're still ignoring current data based on past biases. All those things have an impact. So the most difficult person to control is the enemy number 3, That is you yourself. So I think it's in the Asterix book when he says, we found out who's the enemy, it's us. So the worst enemy that you can have is you yourself, or me, myself. And the first two enemies, Mr. Market and the organized sector, you can't do much about, right? Thanks.